Hello students, today I'm going to explain how to do the map work. So first we begin with the map showing physical features, mainly mountains, peaks and passes. So let's begin from the north. So this is River Indus, and to the north of River Indus lies the Karakoram range. So this brown line here, this shows the Karakoram range running parallel to River Indus. Within the Karakoram range, you can notice this triangle here. This shows K2. It's also called Mount Godwin Austen. This is the highest peak in India and it lies in the Karakoram range. Next, you see here two brackets here. This is Karakoram Pass. This lies between India and China. And this is the famous Himalayan mountains. These are also Yangfold mountains in India. And the indirect question for this can also be the tallest mountain range in the world. That is the Himalayas. And if you notice the location, the extent, this is river Jhelum. So from Jhelum river all the way to just little short of Brahmaputra river we have shown this. And if you will notice very carefully, the mountain range has not been shown by a continuous line. It's shown by a broken line because this is where the rivers are passing through. So the rivers make valleys in the mountains. Next we have, this is Kanchenjunga. Now this is the highest peak of Himalayas in India. It's actually on the border of Sikkim, that is Sikkim lies in India and Nepal. So it's on the border of India and Nepal here. Next, these are the Purvachal mountains, also called Northeastern Hills. This is Garo, this is Khasi and Jayantia. And if you see on this side, again you can see two inverted brackets. Now this shows the Nathula Pass. Nathula Pass lies between India and China. Next, this is the Aravalli Mountains. So just notice how the Aravalli Mountains have been marked here. Now I've drawn a horizontal line from here and a horizontal line from the Nepal border here, the corner. And where these two meet, I draw a slanting line. This is Aravallis. Next we mark the Vindhya Mountains. These are Vindhya Mountains which lie to the north of Narmada river. And this mountain, this hill, the Narmada hills, they should not touch the river underneath, that is Narmada river. And it should also not touch the Chambal and the Betwa rivers. And to the south of Narmada, this is the Satpura mountains. So this is Vindhya and this is Satpura. Vindhya, Satpura. And Vindhya mountains are also block mountains. Satpura mountains are also block mountains in India. And river Narmada, this is river Narmada. This is flowing through a rift valley. And the river below is river Tapti. This is also flowing through a rift valley. Next we mark Western Ghats. So just notice from where the Western Ghats are starting. So almost from where river Godavari ends. So from here, these are Western Ghats, and the extent of Western Ghats in the south is up to the Nilgiris. So these are Nilgiri mountains, right? And Western Ghats is a continuous range. And again, when you're marking Western Ghats should not touch the rivers. It should not touch river Krishna. It should not touch river Tungbhadra. It should not touch river Kaveri. And this is how we mark Eastern Ghats. Between Mahanadi and Godavari, I've drawn one line. And then between river Krishna and Kaveri. And this gap in this gap here, there are no mountains, right? And this range here, this is Nilgiris. So notice this river Kaveri is like a question mark, like an inverted question mark. And this Nilgiris lies in this gap here. So these are all the mountain ranges, peaks and passes that we have to mark. Next, we have to mark the important plains here. So first of all, this is the Indus Ganga plain. So very small part, mainly it is the Ganga plain here, the Gangetic plain. So this is Gangetic plain, and plains lie in the middle and lower course. So this is the middle course of the Ganga river. So, and these are the Gangetic plains. Then we are marking the Konkan coast, the western coast, the coast of Maharashtra actually. This is the Konkan coast. And notice from this is almost like a Y, an inverted Y. So from this point of the Y, you draw a line. So this shows the extent of Konkan coast. And this is where, this is the boundary of the Malabar coast in line with river Kaveri. Okay, and so between the Konkan coast and the Malabar coast, this is the Kanara coast, the coast of Karnataka. And Malabar is the coast of Kerala. And notice the coast is very narrow here, the western coast. So it's been, coast is only the outline. So if I have to mark Konkan coast, only the outline is to be marked. Okay, likewise for Kanara and likewise for Malabar. But if I am showing Konkan coastal plain, so you can see this shaded green portion. This is the coastal plain. The area that is behind the coast, this is the coastal plain. And how to mark the Coromandel coast, starting from river Godavari. This is river Godavari. So from Godavari all the way till the southern tip, this is the Coromandel coast. And this green area, this is the Coromandel coastal plain. Okay, likewise above Godavari, this area here, from here to here, this is called Northern Sircars. This is the top part of the eastern coastal plain. So you will notice that western coastal plains are very narrow and eastern coastal plains are very, very broad, because the rivers here, they're making deltas. So these are the plains. Next we have the types of soils. So first of all, the belt of alluvial soil, it's inland alluvial. So basically the Indus plain, then the Gangetic plain here. Okay, then this is the Gangetic plain only. And then this side along the Brahmaputra river, this is the Brahmaputra plain. Okay, and then we have coastal alluvial shown along the eastern coast. Okay, then we have the black soil. So the major regions, now you will notice the black soil is shown in the interior. It is not touching the coast. So major region is Gujarat here, and then a big chunk here. This is the Deccan Trap or Deccan Plateau. Okay, so another major area where the black soil is found. So black soil is shown by broken lines. Then we have the laterite soil shown in red. So you can see the laterite soil in this area. Along the coast, a little away from the coast, this is laterite soil. This is actually the summits of Western Ghats or peaks of Western Ghats and some part of Eastern Ghat here. Okay, and you can see in the northeast also this area. And then I've shown along the area where alluvial soil is shown, little to the south of it. Now this is the laterite soil in the northeastern hills, a small part here. And this is very easy to mark. It's like, if you see, this looks like a, some kind of an animal. And this looks maybe like a horse, you can say. And this looks like the tail of a horse. So this is laterite soil. Then this yellow region here, along the laterite soil, this is almost like a triangle. Now this is red soil in the south. And this is another major area of red soil. And then this red soil along the northeast. This area is also area showing red soil here. Next we have the water bodies. So if you see the northernmost river, this is river Indus. So this river starts in China, enters India, goes all the way into Pakistan, and finally it falls into the Arabian Sea at this point. So here it is branching into two parts. So this is river Indus. So it's actually in three countries, starting with China, then India, and then it goes into Pakistan. To the south of this river, Satluj, we have river Jhelum. So this is river Jhelum. It originates from here. Now you will notice I have shown the entire location. This is river Jhelum, moves along the border of India and Pakistan, and then finally the Jhelum river, it meets river Chenab at this point. To the south of Jhelum river is the river Chenab. This is river Chenab. Then comes river Ravi. Then it is river Bias. This is river Bias. Bias joins river Satluj here at this point. Then it is river Satluj. So for this I had devised a mnemonic, that is J.C. Roy bought shirt. So J stands for Jhelum, C stands for Chenab, R stands for Ravi, B stands for Bias, and S stands for Satluj. And if you see the order, so it is this from north to south. To the south of Indus is Jhelum, then Chenab, then Ravi, then Bias, and then Satluj. Likewise, you can see here also. First Jhelum, then it is river Chenab, then it is river Ravi, then it is river Bias. This is river Bias. Then it is river Satluj. And the rule is that, when we are showing the tributaries, like if I have to show Chenab, so I can show Chenab all the way from here to where it touches river Indus. So I can show Chenab till here. Likewise, for Jhelum, this is river Jhelum, and again I can mark it all the way till river Indus. If you are not able to, remember the exact length of the river, then you can show the tributary joining the main river. The main river is Indus here. Okay, then coming to Ganga and its tributaries. Now this river here, this is river Yamuna. Okay, river Yamuna meets river Ganga at this point. The second river here is river Ganga. Okay, so Yamuna is actually a tributary of river Ganga. Now this is river Ganga and it flows towards Bay of Bengal. Now here I can show Ganga either along the border of Bangladesh and India, or I can show it going into Bangladesh and falling into the Bay of Bengal at this point. Right? Either ways I can show. Now I've shown Ganga till here. So Ganga is originating here and it's going all the way down to the Bay of Bengal. Now you will notice just like my pencil is tracing the path of the entire river. The entire course is being traced by my pencil. Okay, then next is river Gomti. This is river Gomti, the second river here. Okay, then is river Ghagra. Then it is river Gandak. Then it is river Kosi. Okay, then this is river Brahmaputra, all the way from, we have to show all the way from China. This is called Sangpo here. Okay, then it enters India. Here it's called Brahmaputra. Then it enters Bangladesh. At this point here it's called Jamuna, Jamuna. Then it joins river Ganga and then it is called Padma at this point. So we are going to show the entire course of Brahmaputra river, that is from from China all the way into India and then into Bangladesh, and finally it falls into the Bay of Bengal. We have to show the entire course, but we have to write the name in the Indian part. As you can see, I've written Brahmaputra here. Okay, then we have to mark river Damodar. So you can see again this is like a Y, and the top part of this Y from here to here, this is river Damodar. Okay, now one important thing here, how do I learn the tributaries of Ganga? All these tributaries, their names are starting with G. So I have devised, a way to learn this. So you will notice here I have used a mnemonic, OHA. Okay, So here what do? You write G. 3 G's we write, one after the other. After that we just put this OHA. You will notice here it is O, it is H and it is A here. So Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak. That's left to right. So the first one after Ganga is Gomti, next is Ghagra, next is Gandak. And it's easy to remember this river because the name starts with K, Kosi. Okay, so other tributaries are very easy to mark and remember. It's only these, Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak. In which order? So for that, I have devised this mnemonic, OHA. Right? So this is all these tributaries here. Okay, that is Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi, Brahmaputra. These are all the left bank tributaries of river Ganga because river Ganga is flowing in this direction. Notice the direction of my pencil. Okay, it's moving in this direction. So on the left side, all these tributaries which lie here on the left, they are the left bank tributaries. The ones which lie on the right. Now this is the left side. The left side here, and this side is the right side. So all the tributaries which join on the right side, that is river Yamuna, river Chambal, Betwa, Son. Okay, all these are right bank tributaries. So Chambal, if you notice, river Chambal and river Betwa, they are not directly joining Ganga, they are joining Yamuna. And it is only river Son which is directly joining river Ganga. Then moving to south. So here, before that, let's also do the lake here. So this is the lake on river Jhelum, right? It is touching river Jhelum. If you take a close look at it, so this is Lake Wular. Okay, this is on river Jhelum. It's getting the water from river Jhelum. It's like an oxbow lake. Okay, next we are marking the gulfs. So this is Gulf of Kutch and this is Gulf of Khambat. So Kutch is actually in the mouth. Now if you consider Gujarat here, this is like the mouth of Gujarat. So in the mouth we have the Kutch and under the chin, this area is the Gulf of Khambat. You can see this blue colored portion here. Now let's move southwards. So the first river here, this is river Narmada. This is a river which is flowing through a rift valley. Next is river Tapti, which is again flowing through a rift valley. And these two rivers, they don't form deltas. They form estuaries. Then this side, this is river Mahanadi. Then this is river Godavari. Then this is river Krishna. Then this one, this is a tributary and it joins river Krishna at this point. This is Tungbhadra. Next we have river Kaveri. This is river Kaveri. Okay, then we have a gulf. Now this area, this gulf here is called the Gulf of Mannar. It separates India from Pakistan. And this one, this arrow, this point here, it's a very narrow portion. This is a Park Strait. Okay, then this is the Andaman Sea to the right of the Andaman Islands, not the entire area, only to the right. Okay, so then we have some indirect questions that can be asked, like longest river is Indus and followed by Ganga, and the Ganga left bank tributaries, how to remember the names, Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak. Then longest river of South India is Godavari, and that is why it's also called Dakshin Ganga, Vrid Ganga also. Then Ganga of South is river Kaveri. Then Sorrow of Bihar is river Kosi. Sorrow of Bengal is river Damodar. So this river Kosi is the left bank tributary and also it is always in floods. So this is about the rivers. Okay, next we have the plateaus here. So notice the color that I have used for the plateau. Now we have to mark two plateaus. One is the Deccan Plateau. So you can notice the location of Deccan Plateau. This is Deccan Plateau. It lies between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats, and the northern limit is the Vindhya Mountains, right? And here is the Thar Desert. You can see in yellow how I have marked it. And this is the Chota Nagpur Plateau. So this is almost like, this is a Y and it is kind of, entangled in that Y, like a circle here. This is Chota Nagpur Plateau. So these are the plateaus and deserts that we have to mark on the map. Next we have the winds here. So you will notice that southwest monsoons I have shown in the Arabian Sea as well as in the Bay of Bengal. So just notice the direction. These black arrows are southwest monsoons in the Arabian Sea. And here if you see the southwest monsoon, this is the southern extent. We will not show beyond this. Okay, this is the extent of southwest monsoon. So just see the arrow that I have marked here. Okay, then I've also shown the southwest monsoon in the Ganga Valley. So this is the southwest monsoon, this arrow here shows southwest monsoon in the Ganga Valley. Now these red arrows are showing the northeast monsoon. So they are exactly opposite to southwest monsoon. You can notice this here. So these are northeast monsoons in the Arabian Sea. This is northeast monsoon in the Bay of Bengal. And here, this, you see these two arrows, this shows the western disturbance. And then we have to mark important latitudes and longitudes. So important latitude that we have to mark is Tropic of Cancer. So for Tropic of Cancer, see the points that I have marked. First of all, it is little above the Kutch. It's not touching this point here. Then it is above river Narmada, not touching river Narmada. Then I have shown a point here, okay, where the Y touches the boundary, and it should cross through the two states here, that is Tripura and Manipur. Once I mark these dots, then with a curved line from one margin, I'm going to just connect these dots. So I can do this with a pencil, and then this line should touch the other margin. So this is Tropic of Cancer. It is not a straight line, it's a curved line. Notice the points through which it is passing. Then I have to mark 82.5 degrees east, the standard meridian for a country. So first I mark the confluence of Ganga and Yamuna. Can you see this? This is river Yamuna and this is river Ganga, and they meet here. So one important point is the confluence of Ganga Yamuna. Second important point is this here. So this is river Godavari, so the right limb of river Godavari. And third point is a little away from the coast of Sri Lanka. And I join this with a straight line, but again the line cannot be straight because these 3 points are not collinear points. So with the free hand, I am going to draw a straight line passing through these 3 points. Okay, so this is the 82.5 degrees east meridian or standard meridian for a country. Okay, next we have a population map here. So mainly densely populated and sparsely populated. Sparsely populated means low density. Densely populated means high density of population. So you will see Kerala is a densely populated area in the south. Okay, shown by red dots. Actually, it should be yellow dots here. Okay, by yellow dots. Then red dots actually is low density. So Thar Desert is a low density area. Then this area of Jammu and Kashmir, this part, this is a sparsely populated area in the north because it's very cold out there and the terrain is also very difficult. And this is sparsely populated area in the northeast. This is the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, then densely populated area. Already I told you about Kerala. Then the densely populated area is the Ganga. These are the Ganga plains, and mainly the concentrated area here where there is a huge population, huge density is this area. Okay, so you can see this area which I've shown with yellow or orange dots. Okay, then the state of West Bengal. This area is also very, very densely populated. And then you can even show the state of Bihar, which I have not marked here. But from the political map, you can easily mark the state of Bihar. Even that is a densely populated area or a high density populated area. So that is about all the maps that we have to do. I think there was one more map that was related to cities, important cities. I think that we haven't done.